Welcome to today's Explainer. We're digging into a fascinating guide originally designed for 8th graders, but honestly, it's a total game changer for anyone. We're talking about transforming from someone who just mindlessly follows math steps into a master mechanic of problem solving. So let's dive right into mastering quadratic methods together. Let me ask you this. Have you ever worked on a single math problem for 10 whole minutes, just grinding through it, sweating over the numbers, only to have someone walk by and point out a 10-second shortcut? Yeah, we've all been there, and man, is it frustrating. Doing things the hard way just completely drains your energy. But today, the material we're looking at promises a brand new superpower: mathematical flexibility. Here's our mission briefing for today's Explainer. First, the right tool. Second, your quadratic toolkit. Third, strategic shortcuts. Then, real-world training, your training mission. And finally, wisdom beyond the numbers. Let's get to it. Starting off with Section 1, the right tool, focusing on timing and purpose. So, the source introduces a really cool core idea right up front. Solving math isn't just about blind memorization, it's about making smart decisions. And they use this quote from Ecclesiastes to illustrate the point: there is a time for everything and a season for every activity under the heavens. It makes a lot of sense, right? Just like in life, where there's a right time for every action, there's a right time, and more importantly, a right method for every single equation we face. I mean, you wouldn't wear a winter coat to the beach, so why on earth would you use a long, complicated formula when a fast shortcut is sitting right there in front of you? Moving on to Section 2, your quadratic toolkit, where we'll look at the 4 main strategies. Now, look at how brilliantly this organizes everything into one simple tool belt. These are the 4 main weapons the source lays out for us. First up, factoring. You use this when the numbers factor easily, nice and simple. Second, square roots. This is your go-to when only an x squared or a squared binomial, like x plus or minus b squared, is present. Third is completing the square. You pulled this specific tool out when your b term is even and your a term is exactly 1. And fourth, the heavy artillery, the quadratic formula. You only use this when nothing else works or when the numbers are just too big and stubborn. Knowing exactly when to pull out each specific one of these tools, that's the secret to saving precious time and energy. All right, Section 3, strategic shortcuts and making quick decisions. The guide provides this decision chart, which is honestly the secret sauce of the whole method. Think of the left side as your visual cue, literally what the math problem looks like on the page. And the right side? That's your best method. So if you look at an equation and notice there's no middle x term, boom, your best method is square roots. If you see the numbers are small and friendly and it factors easily, just use factoring. Now, if factoring looks incredibly hard or even impossible, don't waste your time. Jump straight to the quadratic formula. And finally, if the problem specifically directs you to rewrite or derive the equation, that is your cue to try completing the square. You just read the visual clues, instantly know the shortcut, and attack the problem. It's that simple. Which brings us to Section 4, real-world training. Let's test these tools out. Okay, let's look really closely at this first example from the text. We have x squared minus 7x plus 12 equals 0. Now, thinking back to that visual cues chart we just talked about, which tool should we grab first to solve this one? Any guesses? If you said factoring, you hit the nail on the head. The absolute fastest choice here is factoring. Because this equation breaks down nicely and easily into x minus 3 and x minus 4, we want maximum speed here. The factoring tool gets you the answer in literally just a few seconds. Let's try another one. Here's example 2. The quantity x plus 5 squared equals 49. Notice the completely different visual structure here compared to the last problem. So, what does our handy chart tell us to do with this one? Use square roots. The absolutely crucial point here is spotting that perfect square structure on the left side of the equation. Because it's a binomial squared, the square roots method is our ultimate shortcut. You just take the square root of both sides, and you're basically done. There's no need to expand everything out and make a giant mess of the whole shebang. Let's check out one more together. Example 3, x squared plus 2x plus 6 equals 0. Now, looking at this one, it doesn't look easily factorable at all, does it? There are no 2 whole numbers that multiply to positive 6 and add to positive 2. It's just stubborn. So what's our backup plan? This is exactly where we bring in the quadratic formula. When the simpler tools fail us, or the numbers are just being completely uncooperative, we pull out the reliable, heavy-duty quadratic formula to get the job done. It's the fail-safe. It will always work when everything else fails. All right, Section 5, your training mission, because practice makes perfect. The source material actually provides a mini training mission here. You can go ahead and pause this explainer or just take a quick screenshot of these 5 specific problems. The goal here isn't necessarily to solve them right away, but to practice matching the right tool to the visual cues before you even start doing the math. Treat it almost like a game of matching the right strategy to the right problem. Give it a shot. And finally, Section 6, Wisdom Beyond the Numbers, diving into the Hero Smart philosophy. So the grittum we're analyzing actually intertwines biblical morality directly with education, bringing up this really interesting quote from Romans 8. It promises peace of mind to everyone who keeps his or her mind spiritual. The idea here is that keeping your mind focused on spiritual morality brings a deep, lasting peace. And that is a truth the source argues many experience deeply as they engage with this kind of integrated learning. The core philosophy presented here is pretty striking. Education without morality will hurt. I mean, think about it. What's the point of being incredibly smart, of knowing literally every math shortcut in the book, if we just use that education to make harmful choices in life? Intelligence is a tool, just like the quadratic formula. But without a strong moral compass to guide it, that tool can actually cause damage. The ultimate goal isn't just to be brilliant, though that's great, but to be wise and kind too. So, I'll leave you with this final provocative thought directly from our source material. You might know exactly how to choose the right tools for your math equations now, but are you choosing the right tools for your life? Take some time to think about how you can intertwine your academic superpowers with genuine wisdom every single day. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.